my point is, it's like we ran up to a burning house, and there's flames shooting out the window, and we're arguing whether every room's on fire or only 80% of them. Hell, man, I don't know.
Alex, I like I said, I'm with you 90%. When you said 5-1, it scared the heck out of me. I checked it out.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not saying it. I can't say it never went there. I don't know.
Look, I'm just saying I read
years.
It's either AP or Bloomberg. I mean, I can't remember every story I covered 2 weeks ago. I remember people freaking out. I remember actually Trey, my producer, he runs in with stacks of interesting stuff because I had Bob Chapman on about the dollar, and I saw that. Now, whether that was a one-day spike, look, regardless, it used to be 101, now it's 10-1. Yeah, and that's what I had seen a few weeks ago was 10-1. That's why I freaked out when I saw 5.3 to 1.
Okay.
Anything else?
I just want to tell you, keep it up. I really appreciate what you're doing. So much so, I'm close enough to try to go to work for you at some point. But what I'm telling you is, when you said that,
sure, I understand. Look, listen, the problem is during the next break, I'm going to try to search around and find out what it is today. Okay, it doesn't matter, 10-1, 5-1. The point is, as you said, the peso used to be 100-1. You're saying 300-something to 1. I never saw that. I mean, I know Salinas, their president, had to run and leave when he basically looted the economy. That's happening now to us. And I didn't know that. My God, has the euro gone over 150 to the dollar? I mean, you know, this stuff, it's impossible to keep track of all this. Okay, let's go ahead and take another call. I mean, it's kind of like arguing about did you cut off 5 fingers or 1. I mean, the point is, we're in a lot of trouble here, ladies and gentlemen. It's like if somebody knocks 5 of your teeth out and you say, oh, he knocked all my teeth out. You know, but you got a lot of teeth knocked out here. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Matt in Austin. You're on the air. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Alex. It's nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.
My question, or what I was hoping you could do, is outline the top 3 reasons, in your opinion, because I don't necessarily understand why Iran is now Al-Qaeda and we need to invade.
Well, number one, we all know Iran is a Islamic republic under the Shiite brand. There's 2 big arms of Islam, and the largest one is the Wahhabist out of Saudi Arabia, I believe, and then the subgroup, but the second largest is the Shiite. And Iran is a Shiite republic and run by the imams. And I'm not defending it. It's very corrupt. But by the way, in all the polls, their population completely hates them and has been pro-America until we attack them, and they're going to hate us. Then you've got what's going on with the United States, as Cy Hirsch reported in New Yorker Magazine 5 years ago, as Bush has admitted now. They're running 4 different Wahhabist al-Qaeda groups out of Saudi Arabia, real al-Qaeda. Number 3 in al-Qaeda is the mainstream news headline. Just Google that. Attacking Iran, blowing up mosques, attacking schools, police stations, and Iran is suing the U.S., and the U.S. admits, that is, people running our government, admit, the criminals, demonizing our name, admit, yes, we're running al-Qaeda attacks against Iran, and then they have such disrespect for the general public that they then turn around and tell us on the news that Iran runs al-Qaeda. You want to hold over and ask the other part?
Sure.
All right, I'll put you on hold. I mean, the lies are so incredible that it's even hard for me to get my mind around it. Iran fights al-Qaeda. It's like Mohammed Karzai, the installed puppet in Afghanistan, was over in the U.S. a few months ago, and the President Bush said, Iran's with al-Qaeda, and he said, no, they're not, because he lives there. He knows it's not true. We'll be right back.
And everything's so complete when you're walking out on the street. And the wind catches your feet.
On the Iran front, this out of the French news agency, Iran warns of Gulf blitzkrieg and a closure of the Straits of Hormuz if attacked. Iran's military chiefs warned Saturday that the Islamic Republic would shut down the Strait of Hormuz, vital for oil exports, and use blitzkrieg tactics, or lightning war tactics, in the Gulf if it came under attack. And they have medium-range missiles, more than 11,000 of them, that can just destroy the 3 different fleets, carrier task force groups they have there in the Persian Gulf. But I guess that's the plan if there's an attack. And then the U.S. will see our ships sinking. The people will say, nuke them. And then it's off to the races. It's off to $8 a gallon gas, even if you don't care about attacking a country that's done nothing to us. and been overthrown twice by our government. Just absolutely amazing that that is going on. And Ron Paul is in Congress. I interviewed him Thursday, Congressman Ron Paul. He said he hears a lot of members in the halls talking about if we could only nuke Iran. I'm going to get into that. Also, I'm not sure he's calling about this, but it just says on my screen here that he mentioned as a heating and AC guy something about registering with the feds. But I do have a report here out of Computer Magazine. And then it even has links to the state of Texas website with the bill. I couldn't believe this when I read it, even though it was in a reputable source, Computer Magazine. And I read the bill and couldn't believe it. Anyone repairing computers in Texas will have to get a 3-year law enforcement degree and violate your Fourth and Fifth Amendment and spy on the entire contents of your computer without being paid. The government's telling computer repair shops that it's also indentured servitude, violates another area of the Bill of Rights and Constitution, where they're not allowed to tell you to do work without paying you, and saying you're going to spy on everyone. So I want to go over that report. Going back to Matt in Austin, he had a question about why is the news saying Iran is Al-Qaeda and running Al-Qaeda attacks in Iraq when Iran is run by Shiites? Did I answer your question, Matt?
Actually, I was more wondering what's going to be the ultimate benefit to us. Is it greater control of the region? Is it control of oil production? Is it to make Israel happy? What exactly is the outcome that we expect to get out of this?
Well, it's a cocktail of reasons. They do cost-benefit analysis. Why did they go in against Iraq? Well, before we were even attacked on 9/11, which they falsely blamed on Iraq, and the president and vice president now admit that's a lie, and we have White House and the Downing Street memos where they admitted in memos, in the minutes, that they were lying. Secretary of Treasury O'Neill, the first day he was at the White House, this is in January of 2001, shows up and they have the Energy Task Force, he wrote about this, with maps, and they were saying, how are we going to get it? And Cheney says, you'll see. And it was all about shutting down oil exploration. That then jacks up prices. Remember that Iraq had, quote, been over-pumping in 1990, and OPEC was mad because we were paying, 89, 95 cents during that period. You can go look it up. And that was making OPEC and the oil companies mad because we weren't getting charged enough. So by shutting down Iraqi flow during that war and then having Saddam sign deals under sanctions where he could only sell a reduced amount, that jacked up prices then. You understand? It's artificial scarcity. Let's talk about watermelons. It's watermelon season, driving in from seeing family across Texas. I saw trucks everywhere full of watermelons. Let's say I'm a big watermelon magnate who wants to sell them to all the grocery stores. Well, you see, I don't want more watermelons getting grown. If I could get a law passed where only I could grow watermelons, I would, do that if I was a bad guy so that people pay $50 for a watermelon instead of $2. Okay, so it's artificial scarcity, kind of like diamonds are semi-precious, but the Oppenheimer family and the company De Beers has a world monopoly, and that's public knowledge. PBS did Diamond Empire, a documentary on it. I actually interviewed the British lady, she's a royal, who made the film about that. And they got very mad about that and visited her at her yacht there in London and beat her half to death and told her never make another film about it. It's just amazing stuff. But the point is, it is artificial scarcity. So that was one reason to shut the oil off. Then it's hundreds of billions a year in no-bid contracts going into a black hole, $15 million for a blue tarp Halliburton puts up. That's a real case. It's about a domestic police state. When we're in a war, they can tell the people, shut up. When you're in a war, you shut up and don't ask questions, which is the opposite of liberty and freedom and what a true patriot is supposed to do. And yes, Israel has said they want these wars. They want these countries taken down. They want client countries that will give them oil. The U.S. has now built a pipeline out of Iraq into Jordan and then down into Israel. That's going on. So there's a whole cocktail of reasons. But they want to go into Iran really as a political diversion for the plunging dollar because they had people that were basically more pro-U.S. than Ahmadinejad before. They were moderates, and the U.S. didn't want to work with them. But it's this psychology, and I do it too, of saying we. Why are we doing it? What do we get out of attacking Iran? The American people's interest aren't those interests of, quote, the national security interest, because our government is owned and controlled and dominated and steered by foreign institutions that have other interests.
Absolutely. Great, Alex. Hey, listen, I love your show. I listen all the time. Good luck to you.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your